Welcome to the Seller Roadmap, brought to you by the Bulava Group. You're probably here because you know a move is on the horizon. Even if the timing or the reason looks a little different for everyone, maybe your home no longer fits your lifestyle, maybe you need more space or less space, maybe a job change, school schedule, or a financial goal is putting a little crunch on your timeline. Or maybe you're just simply exploring your options and want clarity before making a decision. Whatever your reason is, I'm glad you're here. Selling a home can feel overwhelming. There are financial decisions, emotional decisions, and a lot of moving parts. Our goal is simple: help you make the best decision for your family. As a family-owned business, we've refined the process through more than 2,500 successful local transactions. This roadmap brings the experience together into a clear, practical framework so you can follow along with confidence. Inside, you'll find 8 key strategies, from the moment you start thinking about selling to the day your proceeds hit your bank account. Each stage includes a short video and a downloadable resource so you can stay organized and move at your own pace. If at any point you'd like a customized plan built around your timeline and numbers, you could schedule a quick 15-minute discovery call by using the link that's next to this video. So let's dive in. Welcome to stage 1 of the Seller Roadmap. Decide. Before you talk about photos, staging, or price, there's one important question you need to ask. Does selling right now actually make sense for you? The goal of this stage is clarity. First, why are you selling? Be specific. Is it about space, lifestyle, schools, finances, downsizing, or relocation? Is there a hard deadline? Or is this optional? When motivation is clear, your decisions become easier. It keeps you from overreacting to short-term market noise and making emotional pricing decisions later. Next, what do the numbers look like? You need a rough understanding of your current mortgage balance, any second mortgages or HELOCs, estimated closing costs, what you would realistically net after the sale. In Illinois, sellers typically account for title fees, state, county, and local transfer taxes, attorney's fees, survey, agent compensation, unpaid property taxes. The net sheet in this stage helps work you through all of that with clarity. Clarity on your net proceeds changes everything. It determines whether the move accomplishes your financial goal or not. Then, what is your timeline? Work backwards from a job start date, school calendar, financial goal, purchase timeline. Collectively, selling can take 90+ days when you account for the preparation, time on market, and the closing. Here's a broad stroke timeline for you. Month 1, strategy and market analysis. Month 2, home prep and media. Month 3, active on the market. Month 4, closing. Meeting with an agent early gives you options. Waiting until you have to move removes flexibility. Clarity first, action second. Welcome to stage 2, prepare. This stage is all about getting your home ready to show in its best light. Buyers decide emotionally in seconds, but justify logically later. Your job is to make it easy for them to feel good about the home and hard for them to find reasons to hesitate. Start with a clean slate. Declutter, depersonalize, pack away excess belongings and furniture and personal photos. The goal is for buyers to see the space, not your life inside it. They want to build their own life as they're walking through. Next, repair and refresh. Handle all the small issues now. Leaky faucets, burned out light bulbs, squeaky doors, minor paint touch-ups. Small defects create doubt, and doubt turns into lower offers, tougher negotiations, or buyers moving on to the next option. Then focus on what buyers notice first. Curb appeal. It's all about the highest return on your investment, and it's about the first impression. First, mulch, trimmed landscaping, clean walkways, a tidy entry, a clean front door go a long way in setting the tone before buyers even step inside your home. Inside, your goal is simple: tight, clean, move-in ready. Fresh neutral paint helps spaces feel brighter. Clean windows help natural light do its job. Flooring matters because it's one of the first things buyers visually track as they walk through the home, and a deep clean at this stage makes everything more cared for. Finally, understand the big ticket mindset buyers bring into a showing. Most buyers are quietly doing the math. How old is the roof? How old is the HVAC system? What's the condition of the water heater and major appliances? It's not always worth replacing everything, but it's absolutely a case-by-case decision to do so. But here's the reality. If two similar homes are competing and one has major systems that feel more reliable, the home usually sells faster and for more money. The goal in this stage isn't to dump money into upgrades that you won't get back. The goal is to make your home the obvious choice against the competition. And most of the time, the biggest wins come from the simplest actions. Declutter, clean, brighten, and fix the small things that will create doubt. Welcome to stage 3, launch. This is where strategy matters most. Up first, pricing. There are 3 primary ways to price a home. The first is what we call frenzy pricing. This is where you price the home slightly below market value with the goal of generating heavy traffic and creating a bidding war. When it works, it can work well. When it doesn't work so well. The challenge is there's no guarantee the frenzy happens. If the demand doesn't materialize, you've anchored the market lower than you intended. The second method is aspirational pricing. This is when you price the home above market value to leave room to negotiate. What often happens instead is reducing showing activity, multiple price reductions, longer days on the market, and ultimately selling for less than you might have had you positioned it correctly from the start. And the third way, and our preferred approach, is the comparable-based pricing. This is where we use objective market data to position your home as close to the perceived market value as possible. The goal is to land somewhere in the sweet spot to get strong activity with a realistic timeline and competitive offers without leaving money on the table. To determine the perceived market value, we use what we call the 5-5-5 system. 5 active listings, 5 pending listings, and 5 recently sold listings. This gives us a real-time snapshot of the competition, demand, and proven value. On top of that, we conduct a property positioning inspection. That's where we physically tour the competition whenever possible to evaluate the layout, condition, upgrades, and overall presentation of that home. Data only tells part of the story. Walking the homes tells the rest. Finally, we perform an active buyer analysis. We look where buyers are most active right now by price point and bracket, so we understand where the momentum in the market is. This brings us to price bracketing. Buyers search in ranges, for example, 400 to 425, 425 to 450. At higher price points, these brackets might be $100,000 or even $200,000 wide. Because of that, we almost never price at $499. We price at $500. Why? Well, one, because we're not selling produce. The other is because buyers searching up to $500,000 will see your property. Buyers starting at $500,000 will also see your property. The goal is to maximize exposure within these filters. The list price is a marketing tool. It's designed to position your home in front of the largest qualified buyer pool possible. It's not necessarily the final sales price. Our job is to make the home the obvious choice when buyers compare it to other competition, which leads directly to marketing. Once the price is positioned correctly, we need to get that home in front of as many qualified buyers as possible. Our core philosophy is simple. More exposure leads to more showings, and more showings lead to better offers. To do that, we do what we call the buyer universe. It breaks down into 4 quadrants: active buyers, passive buyers, buyers that we know, buyers that we don't know. A strong marketing campaign leaves no stone unturned. We aim to reach buyers at every one of those categories. That includes direct outreach to agents and active buyers, paid digital advertising to guarantee your home is shown to thousands of qualified prospects using data-backed targeting, organic marketing designed to encourage sharing and engagement, full MLS exposure, and syndication across every major real estate platform. Every campaign is tailored to the home, the lifestyle it represents, and the type of buyer that will most likely purchase it. It's by that constant exposure and intentional distribution. Once your listing is launched and traffic is being generated, the next step is converting that traffic into showing, which leads us into stage 4. Welcome to stage 4, showings. You never know which showing will bring the buyer who ultimately purchases your home. That's why when you're selling, accessibility matters. The easier it is to schedule and tour your home, the more buyers walk through it, and the more traffic creates more opportunity. It all starts with scheduling. We use a platform called Showing Time, which allows agents to book showings at their convenience while keeping you fully informed. You receive a notification when a showing is requested and confirmed, so there are no surprises. Security is also a major concern, and it's not something that we take lightly. We use central lock boxes on every listing. Access is restricted to approved and licensed agents only. Entry is time controlled, and every showing creates a digital record of who entered the property and when. If something were ever damaged or removed, there's a clear access trail. Protection and accountability are built into the process. Once access is handled properly, the next focus is presentation. Before every showing, turn on all the lights, open the blinds to maximize natural light, remove clutter from surfaces, wipe down counters and bathroom fixtures, hide personal items and valuables, open interior doors to improve flow, tidy the entry and exterior. Buyers are comparing your home with every other home that they've toured that week. Small details influence perception. Make it easy for them to feel confident in saying yes to your home. After every showing, we follow up directly with the agent. We gather feedback on the price, condition, and overall impression. That feedback helps us identify patterns, adjust if necessary, and encourage strong offers when interest is there. Showings generate information. Information generates leverage, and once offers come in, it's time to evaluate them strategically. Welcome to Stage 5. Offers. Getting offers is exciting, but the process is far from over. The last thing you want to do is accept an offer, take your home off the market, and then have the deal fall apart. When that happens, you lose time, momentum, and often negotiating leverage. The highest price is not always the best offer. You have to evaluate strength, not just numbers. When we present offers, we break them down clearly side by side. We look at offer price, seller credits or concessions, buyer agent compensation, estimated net proceeds to you, the type of financing, down payment amount, earnest money amount, contingencies, closing timeline, and so much more. The strength of the buyer's agent and lender and financing matters. A larger down payment typically means lower risk of financing issues. Earnest money shows commitment. The more a buyer has at stake, the more serious they tend to be. Contingencies matter. Fewer and cleaner contingencies usually increase certainty and reduce the chance of surprises later. And sometimes price isn't even the most important factor to some people. For some sellers, a specific closing date matters much more. For others, it's flexibility, leaseback terms, or confidence that the deal will close smoothly. When we review offers, we walk through the pros and cons of each one, discuss how they align with your goals, and help you determine which offer gives you the best overall outcome. Once you have accepted the contract, we move on to Stage 6, which is contracts. Welcome to Stage 6, contracts. Once an offer is accepted, the focus shifts. At this stage, it's no longer about generating interest, it's about protecting the contract and getting to the closing table. There are 7 major checkpoints you need to be aware of. Every contract is slightly different, so following the exact terms and deadlines on your agreement is critical. Missing timelines can create unnecessary risk. Here's what happens in most transactions. 1. Signed contract. All parties must fully execute the contract. Until signatures are complete, nothing is binding. Speed and accuracy do matter here. Earnest money deposit, typically 1 to 3 days. The buyer submits their earnest money according to the contract timeline and terms. This shows good faith and financial commitment. If this is delayed, it's addressed immediately. Number 3, attorney review and inspection period, typically within 5 business days of acceptance. In Illinois, attorney review and inspections often happen simultaneously. The buyer will conduct their home inspection and their attorney will propose any modifications to the contract. This is one of the most sensitive phases of the transaction. Inspections may lead to repair requests or credits. The key here is staying objective. Not every item on the inspection report requires action. The goal is to resolve legitimate concerns without reopening the entire negotiation. Number 4, appraisal if the buyer is financing the purchase. The lender will order an appraisal to confirm the value supports the contract price. The appraisal must come in at or above the agreed on contract price unless the buyer has structured their offer to cover the gap. If this comes in low, we may renegotiate, challenge the appraisal, or restructure terms depending on the situation. Value support is critical in finance transactions. Number 5, buyer financing approval. The buyer's lender moves the file through underwriting. This is where income, assets, credit, debt are fully verified. Financing must be clear in underwriting. Even strong buyers can run into issues if something changes financially during this period. That's why a quality lender and great communication matter. Number 6, title and legal review. The title company confirms there are no liens, boundary issues, or legal defects that would prevent a clean transfer of ownership. Your attorney reviews everything to ensure the property can legally be transferred. Number 7, contingency deadlines. Every contract includes contingency deadlines. Inspection contingency, appraisal contingency, financing contingency. Each one must be satisfied, waived, or cleared within the specific time frame. Deadlines matter. If they pass without actions, rights can be lost and the deal can become vulnerable. The entire stage is about execution and risk management. Inspections create tension. Appraisals must support value. Financing must be clear. Legal work must be clean. This is where experience matters most. Strong communication, tight timeline management, and proactive problem solving are what keep transactions moving forward instead of falling apart. Once contingencies are cleared and financing is secured, the transaction moves into its final phase, preparing for closing. Welcome to stage 7, moving. Work backward from your closing date. Closing day comes faster than most sellers expect. The smoother your plan is on the front end, the less chaotic it feels at the end. Start by booking movers early. If you're moving during the peak seasons like late spring or summer, availability can tighten quickly. Locking in your movers 4 to 6 weeks in advance gives you flexibility and avoids premium pricing. Next, schedule packing in weekly blocks. Instead of trying to pack your entire home in one exhausting weekend, break it down. Week 1, storage areas, basement, seasonal items. Week 2, guest rooms, decor, rarely used spaces. Week 3, kitchen overflow, closets, garage. Final week, everyday essentials. Declutter as you go. Every box you don't pack is one that you don't have to move. Donate, sell, or discard items that no longer serve you. Moving is one of the best forced opportunities to simplify. Label boxes clearly and label them on the side, not just on the top. When boxes are stacked, you'll be able to see what's inside and where it belongs. Keep important documents, jewelry, medications, and valuables with you. Don't load those onto the moving truck. The same goes for everything that's irreplaceable. Plan to be fully moved out at least one day before closing. Last minute delays happen and buyers request access for final walkthroughs. Giving yourself a buffer protects you from unnecessary stress and ensures the home is empty and ready to go. Then handle the final details, like scheduling utility transfers. Don't shut them off. Utilities should remain active through the day of closing, not turned off early. Confirm transfers 48 hours in advance so there are no service interruption or billing surprises. Update your address with the United States Post Office, banks, credit cards, insurance providers, subscriptions, payroll or HR departments. Clean thoroughly after everything is out. A broom clean home is the minimum expectation, but professionally cleaned homes leave a strong final impression. Finally, do your own walkthrough once the home is empty. Check closets, cabinets, garage shelves, attic spaces. Make sure nothing was forgotten and everything agreed on is still in place. Preparation reduces last-minute stress. And when moving day arrives, the goal is simple: transition smoothly and close with confidence. Welcome to stage 8, closing. This is the final step. Congratulations, you've made it. This is where everything you've worked toward becomes official. A few days before closing, the buyer will complete their final walkthrough, typically within 3 days of the closing date, although most end up doing it the day of closing. This is not another inspection, it's a confirmation. They are verifying that the home is empty, agreed upon repairs, if any, were completed. The property is in the same condition that it was when the contract was accepted. All included items remain in place. The home should be clean, cleared out, and fully accessible. This is why being fully moved out at least a day early is important. It avoids last-minute scrambling and prevents unnecessary friction. Next are the documents. In many cases, sellers pre-sign their documents with their attorney prior to the buyer's closing appointment. That means you often do not need to attend the actual closing with the buyer. If you do attend, you'll sign the deed transferring the ownership, settlement statement, and any final affidavits required to get the property closed. On closing day, several financial pieces are handled automatically. Your mortgage payoff is processed directly from the proceeds. Outstanding property tax credits and prorations are accounted for. Title fees, transfer taxes, and attorney fees are deducted, and what remains are your net proceeds. Those funds are typically wired to your bank account the same day or the next business day, depending on the recording time. timing and the bank processing. Ownership officially transfers once the documents are signed and recorded at the county. At that moment, the transaction is complete. Congratulations, you've successfully navigated the process from preparation to closing, and now the next chapter begins. So what are your next steps? Thanks for walking through the seller roadmap. Selling a home is both a financial decision and a life decision. This framework is broad by decision, but your situation is specific. Your timing, equity goals, and risk tolerance all matter. Whether you are 6 months out or ready to move right now, the next step is personalization. Let's schedule a 15-minute discovery call using the link below. We'll clarify your goals, review your home's position in today's market, outline a step-by-step strategy tailored to you. We look forward to helping you navigate your home selling journey when the time is right. Make it a great home selling and buying day.